Welcome to the Smiles Are Wild show, brought to you by Pediatric Dental Associates and Orthodontics. We know as parents that taking care of your children's teeth can be overwhelming. That's why every week we will bring you educational content to encourage and empower you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Smiles Are Wild channel, brought to you by Pediatric Dental Associates and Orthodontics. My name is Amy Morgan. We will be bringing you fun and educational videos weekly to help you take better care of your child's oral health care needs at home and on the go. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to see all of our new videos. And remember, it doesn't really matter how you take care of your teeth as long as you take care of them from the beginning. Hi, good morning everyone. How are you? Happy Monday. Hopefully we are all getting back into the thick of things as far as school and all that fun stuff. I do want to make sure that everyone can hear me okay. So if you pop on here and you can hear me, just let me know that the mic is working properly. Today we're going to be sharing here in a little bit some tips and tricks on how you can start establishing a healthy routine now with your kids. As far as school is started, we want to make sure that we give you some tangible items and some actionable items that can be done right now to kind of help you get back on that routine. So we're going to get started. Just for those of you who don't know, thank you, Heather. For those of you that don't know, my name is Amy Morgan. I'm the marketing coordinator here at Pediatric Dental Associates and Orthodontics, and we are so glad you have joined us. Just a few housekeeping items. We want to make sure that if you're watching this and someone shared this to their page and maybe you're not following us, that you go ahead and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You can find both of those at Smiles Are Wild. We also have a YouTube channel that you can go back and watch any of our video content as well, and we would appreciate that. And if you go ahead and subscribe there. We also have a podcast available on iTunes and Spotify that you can find by searching Smiles Are Wild. We hope that you'll all go and subscribe to all of those for us. Kind of let us know that you're keeping up with what we have going on here at PDA&O. So today we're going to go ahead and get started. We want to discuss how you can stay on a healthy routine with your kids. We're going to discuss some brushing techniques, even just some meal planning ideas, things like that. So as the school year kind of gets started, I think we kind of just get off onto this tangent of we've got to make sure we're just doing our best to get the kids to school on time, right, at this point. So we want to make sure that, we're establishing routines. Our kids thrive on routine. So as long as you can, set those standards early for them, especially with the school year, they're going to be used to getting back on schedule as far as sleeping times and things like that. And if you incorporate some of these other things pretty quickly, you'll be able to establish that and it'll hold throughout the year. So we're going to go over 4 things that we feel like are super important. But obviously all of these can be adapted to your family's needs and kind of what you have around the house, things like that. So first and foremost, we want to make sure that you're establishing brushing as part of your everyday routine. Now, regardless of your child's age, as long as they have their teeth, they need to be brushing. So this would apply for a 1.5-year-old all the way up to a teenager, but you want to make sure that they are brushing morning and night. And we realize that at some ages this is difficult. It can be difficult just by behavior and cooperation as far as like a 2- and 3-year-old. It can also be difficult even for a teenager, as in you don't really have the time to follow them around and make sure that they're brushing their teeth every day. So we've come up with a couple things. Number one is just to stay consistent with that brushing. Even if they're not really cooperating throughout the situation on your younger kids, just keep doing it. Keep doing it morning and night. It's one of those things where unfortunately they really don't get a choice in the matter. We understand, from the dental office perspective that it is difficult to kind of have to go through that with your kids every time, but we promise it's just like bringing them to the dental office. The more often they're doing it, they will see how not scary it can be, and they will do better over time as you continue to bring them to dental appointments. It's the same thing with brushing. if you just don't let go of it and they just know that they have to do it regardless of the situation, then they're going to eventually jump on and they're going to be fine. So staying consistent. And then we have a couple apps that you can use to kind of help with the brushing and kind of to encourage some brushing. So there's the Disney Timer app, which would be used for your younger kids. I do have it on my phone. Let me see. Gotta find it. So it's a really cool app. Has lots of games and stuff like that involved in it, but it can keep up with their brushing habits, kind of help you with making sure that they're brushing. And then also there's an Oral-B app. So the Oral-B app works with any of the Bluetooth timer toothbrushes. So if you've bought one of the adult size or kid size Oral-B toothbrushes, the electric ones from us, they have Bluetooth capability. So any Oral-B toothbrush with the Bluetooth capability can use the Oral-B app or the Oral-B Fun Zone app. And those kind of make it fun for kids. I know they have like a Snapchat filter on it. I know one of the toothbrushes that we sell within our practice that's known as the adult version. A lot of them come with even like a mirror mounting thing so that you can put the phone on the mount on the mirror, and then it will actually like watch where they're brushing and then show them on the screen kind of how that's brushing's going. And I think I can pull that one up and kind of show you. So it has like a screen, and so it would go through and tell them when they're, where they're missing and things like that. So there's some really cool things. Let me see if there's anything else in here that's been added. But yeah, it has the basic, it even has your results. So this will show kind of their daily results as far as how a teenager would be doing if you wanted to keep up with that. It's also good for adults, so you have that option. Let's see, it does a weekly, a monthly, daily, weekly, monthly. But this is a way to, like, all you kind of have to do to connect it to your phone. So say maybe the teenager isn't using the Bluetooth piece of it and doing it to the app, but you can, and you can just kind of walk by, and it'll, every now and again, it just needs to connect to the Bluetooth. So you just have to get near the toothbrush, and then you can kind of see how they're doing with the brushing. So once you have it set up, you should be able to control kind of what they're doing, and you can see those kinds of things. So those are just some apps that you can do. There are some paid apps that I found on the iPhone App Store that you can buy as well that teach about brushing and technique and things like that. So number one thing as far as the brushing is to make sure that you're staying consistent, and then to make it fun for them and make them want to do it, you can use an app that will keep up with their information. You can also, if you don't want to use an app or anything like that, you can also make it like a sticker chart. So just like you would do for chores or anything else, you can make a brushing chart. And if you've seen that they've been brushing morning and night for like a week, then they go get a special prize. So there's lots of those out there on the internet as well. Little forms you can print out, or you can have them draw their own and kind of make it theirs, okay? So number 2 on our list of ways that you could stay healthy and to establish a routine is, especially for your own sanity, is, and this is something I do, is to do as much as you can the night before. So when there are things to do in the morning, things can be hectic. You could wake up late, like in just that 5 minutes could like throw everything off. So the more you can get done at night, the better, things will be in the morning. So I have down here, some things that I do personally is I make sure that my kids, all their outfits are laid out the night before. And that includes the top, the pants, the underwear, the socks, and any athletic gear that they might need for practice after school. So I just make sure that I kind of know in my head where all those items are, as helmets and pads and shoes and all of those things, that I know where they are, so that it just makes things a lot easier for me when I'm into my daily routine. So, and you can even do this by the week. So I have a friend that literally has like the shoe hanger thing in her closet, and it's named like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and she puts all her kids' outfits for the whole week in there. So you can skew this to what is better for your family, but I definitely recommend, as far as like anything you can get done that night would be wonderful. You can also go ahead and make their lunches. We do recommend that when you're making their lunches that you do put a healthy option in there. So For instance, my kids eat a lot of Lunchables because it's just easier. But with that usually comes like a cookie. So what I try to do is make sure I'm packing some carrots or some celery or something to offset that cookie that's in there. So the turkey and the cheese and the crackers are not terrible. And the cookie, one cookie at lunch is not going to hurt them. But I also try to make sure they have an apple, carrots, something like that. And also apples, carrots, celery, things like that that they have to bite into really help with getting all of the, help keep plaque from forming on their teeth, because it does kind of naturally clean their teeth when they bite into it. So it won't clean all their teeth, but where they're biting, it would include that. You can also make sure you're reviewing their homework that night and any papers that they need to sign. We have a routine at our house where if there's papers to sign, the kids have to take them out of their backpacks and put them on the kitchen table so that I can see them. But that doesn't always happen. And as parents, you know, we get really busy and we try not to remember. But just like right before bed, you know, even your bed, make sure that you're looking over their stuff, making sure they don't have anything in their backpacks that they need for the next day and things like that. I know teachers do a really good job of keeping us updated. I know my teacher uses an app so I can see all of her assignments, so that makes it really convenient. But, you know, just we get busy through the night, just we're in our routines, we're at sports practices or dance class or art class or, you know, any of those items. And sometimes all these things can come to fruition all at one time. And so the more you can get done at night, then your mornings will be more smooth, which will then send them off to school in a better mood or not having to fight and argue with them as far as you go, and you can get to work in a sane manner. And then one thing that would help with that nightly routine is actually on our next numbered item here, and that is to make a daily schedule. So even for your young kids, even for your kindergartners, first graders, second graders, these kids at this age thrive on a schedule. I mean, you could probably ask any teacher. If the clock says 11:30 and they haven't gone out for recess yet, like they know what the activity schedule is for that day. So they are constantly looking and almost begging to see a schedule, to see a routine, to know what's going to come up next. So the more of that you can confine into your daily schedule, the better off they'll do. So I have on here, as far as making a daily schedule, to make it visible. So you can get a small magnetic dry erase board and write it on the dry erase board and put it on the refrigerator so they can see like what time they're supposed to wake up, what time you're leaving the house, what time they would be back from school, what time practices are. And you can have one for each child if you want to. You can have a big one for the whole family. It's just kind of up to you. But this would be more like just a daily routine, as in the things that you do every day. Waking up, brushing their teeth, eating snacks, that kind of thing. Is just to make sure that you are, you know, presenting them with something that they can refer to. Okay, so they're not caught off guard. You can also use just plain paper. You can use plain poster board, and this would just kind of be your daily routine. Again, not anything that would be like, oh, we have a recital tonight, you know, nothing like that. Just like this would be like we wake up, we brush our teeth, we do all these things, and you can even put it in their bathroom if you feel like that's better for them, depending on their ages, you know, kind of the location in the house would be determined by that. But I also know a lot of my friends have what they call command centers, and that command center is more of like the activity schedule for the family. But so you could have it posted there, but more of just like a daily routine for that. Okay. Then the other thing I have on that as far as a daily schedule is to use your electronic devices. So you can use your iPhone, your smartwatch, your Amazon Alexa, your Google Home, any of these items that we have that make our home smart. They're there to do the work for you. So again, I'll go back to my personal usage of these items. When, number one, on our phones, if I tell my kids you have 15 more minutes to play or do whatever, then I will set a timer on my phone or on my watch so that I'm not letting that 15 minutes lapse. I'm staying on them, and they understand that, you know, I'm going to come to them in 15 minutes. And it kind of it lets them know like, hey, I'm watching the clock. You can also set it to set up automatic reminders. Our Alexa, we have an Alexa at home, and then our kids have the Alexa Dots, And we had them set to remind them an hour before bedtime, an hour before quiet time, things like that. And then it gives them a 15-minute reminder before bedtime. And this kind of lets them know, like, hey, you need to start getting your shower done. You need to make sure you have your stuff ready for school tomorrow. It's kind of a prep hour where the TVs go off. We also have everything set into those automatic plug things. So when it's time for the TV to go off, the TV just automatically goes off. So I'm setting that because I know that personally, I have a hard time with like looking at the clock right when it's 8 o'clock and there's not supposed to be any more TV, of going in there and saying like, hey, there's no more TV. This lets it be more of a automatic thing that I don't have to worry about anymore. And then I'm also not necessarily looking like the bad person because it's the Alexa telling them, not me. So there's a few reasons for that, but these are just hints. These are just little suggestions that you can do for that. So you can set that even to say, hey, it's time to brush your teeth. So even in the morning, like ours, the Alexa Dots do the alarms for our kids. And it's, after like 5 minutes after the alarm, it says it's time to brush your teeth and wash your face. So, it's just kind of up to you kind of how you use those things, but it has been genius. And I will say I cannot take credit for all of that. My husband set all that up. So, but he's a big electronic guru, so he kind of knows how to work all the ins and outs of that. But it's been very, very, very simple. And you can find those pretty reasonably priced, especially the Alexa Dots and the Alexa, like when they have Amazon Prime Day, Christmas specials, things like that. That's the time to pick up those electronic devices at a cheap price. And then also another thing that me and my husband do is we have a shared calendar. So we use a shared calendar in our phone, which I don't know if today's a good example, but any events that we have, anything that's outside of our regular work schedule with the boys' practices or anything like that, we have shared application in our phone here. So you can see here the blue is me, the purple is both of us, and blue is both of us, red is him, and then purple would be just me. So for me, I know what we're both responsible for, kind of what's only his but that's extra, and then me. But this could all be done from your smartphone. We do that, and then we can kind of see what's going on with each other, plus with the kids, and it's kind of all in there. And we kind of work out our plan on the Sunday of who's going to do what throughout the week. But that's just a suggestion I got from someone else, so you can do what you need to do for that. And again, you can share that calendar with your significant other. It could also just be with the babysitter, with grandma, with kind of anybody that is in your contacts who is responsible for your children, or you're helping you out with the kids or whatever. You can share those calendars with anybody, I believe, by just putting it in their email. And then number 4 is last on our list, but I think this is something that we kind of take for granted, especially in the summertime. We're just kind of go with the flow, kind of whatever. And what always happens at almost 5 o'clock every day in my family is, what are we having for dinner? And every single time I'm like, I don't know, I haven't figured it out yet. So, but I have noticed on the weeks when I plan out our meals that it is definitely a more smooth transition as far as the week. The kids are not asking me what we're having for dinner because it's on the refrigerator. They know what to expect. They know kind of how to prep for that. So number 4 on our list is just plan out meals. And you can do that by, 1, making a weekly menu. So you can sit down on whatever day you do your grocery shopping and you can make it weekly. So we would do that on a Sunday. Make out your weekly menu, go grocery shopping, do everything, and then post it on the refrigerator so that everyone in the family knows what's for dinner and no one has to ask you. And then the second on my list, which is probably the most genius idea anybody's ever come up with, is to use grocery pickup. If you are in the Northwest Arkansas area, and pretty much any Walmart across the country now offers pickup, and so does Target, and so does Aldi. So you have the option to take some time out from your daily schedule, and literally you do not have to go to the grocery store. It also saves money because you're not I can't think of the word that it's called, but you're not impulse buying. So you're buying just the items that you need. You're not having to hear the child like, oh, I want these Cheez-Its or I want these crackers. Like, you're buying the exact items that you need, and there's not that temptation to buy something that you don't need. And it's also not the kids not seeing what they saw in the commercial, and so they want that. So you're cutting out some impulse buying, which will also help you stay on a budget. So use grocery pickup option as much as you can. The other thing you can do as far as meal planning is to research quick recipes on Pinterest or on the internet, period, on blogs or whatever. And, you know, that's just kind of save times. You can search for quick and easy meals, one pot meals, you know, things like that will really help with that. And then the last thing as far as planning out meals is to use a crock pot or an Instapot to prepare the meals. So crock pot has been a lifesaver for us as far as like we have some go-to meals that we throw in that. And that normally for our family will make at least another set of meals for the next day. So we'll have some leftovers, but sometimes it even goes beyond that depending on what it is. But there are several options that you can do. You can also just plan out your meals and say they're all to do with chicken. You could cook all the chicken in the crock pot or the Instapot and have that ready, and then you can just add it in at night. There's tons of different ways that you can get that going for how your routine is in your family. There also is there's a Bluetooth crock pot, which I actually got as a wedding gift. So you can actually set it up to connect to your phone, and then you can turn on the crock pot when you need it. So for those crock pot meals where it says only 4 to 6 hours are needed to cook it, and you're always like, well, I'm not going to be home at noon for it to cook for 4 or 5 hours, and so it's going to overcook or whatever. There is something called a Wemo crock pot, which is WEMO, and it will Bluetooth to your phone, and it will hook into your phone, so your phone is always hooked there, so you can start it when you need it, which is amazing. But you know, put that on your Christmas list, you know, whatever you need there. But most importantly, we just want, you know, to give you some ideas here. I'm going to recap them real quick. So one is just to make brushing part of your everyday routine. So include that. It's just as important as taking a bath. So make sure that you're brushing their teeth every single day, morning and night. And then number 2 on our list is to do as much as you can the night before. Number 3 is to make a daily schedule. And number 4 is to plan out your meals. So those are just 4 quick things that you can implement right now today with the items that you have. Some of them, you know, I've mentioned some electronic devices you can use, but literally simply a lot of these can just be done with pen and paper, and just kind of keeping up with your own, you know, your own stuff, you know, to kind of keep you sane throughout the school year. We hope that you've enjoyed the tips that we've given today. I did ask, you know, if you had any of your own things to send those in to us, and we would appreciate that. We want to thank you all for watching, and we hope you'll join us next week as we share more tips and tricks to kind of help keep your family healthy, keep you on a healthy routine, and all things dental, of course. Thank you for watching. And again, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Smiles Are Wild. You can also find us on YouTube under our office name, which is Pediatric Dental Associates and Orthodontics. And we have a podcast that is available now on iTunes and Spotify, and you can find that by searching Smiles Are Wild. Thanks again. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and go visit us on smilesarewild.com. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and go visit us on smilesarewild.com.